Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the VA is back, baby. Welcome to Veteran Perspectives. My name is Jeff. First, a message from our sponsor. It is us, all of us. Please sign my petition on change.org. The link will be down in the description. I have put in a petition to change the Constitution, the 28th Amendment, to change age limits, term limits, access to investments, among other things, for members of Congress. But I need your help to get that petition known to both federal and state legislators. So, sign that petition. It's free to do so. You can contribute monetarily to push the petition out more if you want, but that is completely optional. I just ask that if you agree with what I have written on there, I've written out the entire amendment on the petition, that if you do agree with it, please sign it and share it with everyone on all of your socials. Again, change.org petition, 28th Amendment to change Congress age limits, term limits, and access to investments. Link will be down in the description. The VA is so back, and by that I mean they're back to their bullshit. Oh yeah. The Department of Veteran Affairs has fundamentally changed how your service-connected disabilities are rated, okay? And they did it in the dark. They did it by night. They did it by hook and crook. Again, we're back to some mid-2010s bullshit, okay? On February 17th, 2026, the VA issued an interim final rule amending Title 38, Code of Federal Regulations, CFR, Section 4.10. If you rely on medication to manage your pain, your mental health, or whatever you use your prescribed medication for, or for your service-connected condition, the VA has just decided to use your successful treatment against you. Under this new rule, if your prescription works and lowers your symptom severity, the VA will calculate your disability rating based on that improved, highly medicated state. They are essentially, what this means, they are essentially punishing veterans for following doctor's orders. So today we're going to break down exactly what this rule change means, how the VA bypassed courts and the public to force it through, and whether your current ratings are on the chopping block, okay? So I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything else. I'm here to give what I know thus far as the facts after watching all the videos online and doing my research, okay? So what actually changed? The medicated baseline. To understand why this is so devastating for veterans, we have to look at how ratings used to work, okay? The CFRs. For years, the standard was that the VA had to evaluate your true functional impairment, your non-medicated impairment. This meant looking at the baseline severity of your condition. What is the condition? That's it. Okay? So let's say you have severe service-connected arthritis or a debilitating back injury, neck injury, or even PTSD. Okay? Whatever. Okay, there are very few service-connected disabilities that have medication or with medication written into the CFR. I think hypertension does. I'm not 100% sure about that, but there are very few of them that have them written into the CFRs. Remember, CFRs can be amended and changed by the VA with public comments, stuff like that. We'll talk more about that later, okay? But they ignored it for about 14 years because that's what the VA does, okay? They ignore shit until they're like, we're stupid. And now we're here, okay? So before the rule change, VA examiners were generally required to estimate what your disability level would be without that medication, okay? The logic was simple here. Treating a symptom is not the same as curing the underlying disability. If you take away the pills, the crippling pain, loss of mobility, loss of mental function, whatever it might be, comes right back. On top of that, adding medication may help with whatever is ailing you, but that medication may also have effects beyond your control. May cause sleepiness and drowsiness, right? Maybe you have service-connected migraines and you take migraine medicine, but that medicine makes you sleepy and you cannot work. Thanks, VA. So the new amendment to section 4.10, the CFR, completely erases this logic, because why would the VA operate under a system of logic? Okay? The VA explicitly ordered medical examiners to stop estimating unmedicated baselines. They ordered their medical examiners to stop estimating unmedicated baselines. The new mandate states that if a medication or treatment lowers your level of disability, not if the medication impacts your ability through side effects or whatever, your rating will be based strictly on that lowered level. You are no longer rated on your injury. You're no longer rated on your service-connected disability. Your service doesn't fucking matter here. They don't care about that. You are rated on how well the pharmacy is masking your injury. Overturning standing policy and the courts. The most infuriating part of this is that the VA is directly defying our court system. Veteran advocates have fought this battle before for over a decade. In 2012, a case called Jones versus Shinseki. I'll say that again. 2012, a court case called Jones versus Shinseki. Okay? Remember, General Shinseki used to be the VA secretary. Okay? Established that the VA could not just reduce ratings based on the effects of medication unless a specific diagnostic code required it. Then the VA ignored diagnostic codes. Then in 2025, just this last year, the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims dropped a massive ruling in Ingram versus Collins. I'll say that court case again so y'all can Google it, look it up, verify me, okay? Ingram versus Collins. The court ruled definitively that the VA cannot consider the effects of medications when evaluating musculoskeletal conditions. They cannot. The court told the VA they had to determine what the impairment actually is if the veteran did not take medication. The VA hated this ruling. They hated it because they had to do work. They had to do some extra work. They claimed that recalculating claims based on the Ingram decision would create a massive administrative burden. Oh no. Oh no, you had to do work for veterans? That's your fucking job. So instead of complying with the highest veterans court in the land, the VA said, okay, fuck it. We're going to rewrite our own rule book. We're going to take the standard operating procedure and we're just going to rewrite it and not tell anyone. And no one was going to notice. So they simply changed section 4.10 specifically to nullify the Ingram decision. The VA better be ready to go to court. They are going to cost themselves, which will ultimately cost veterans more money. They rewrote their own rule book, their own law, so they would not have to pay out higher ratings the court said veterans deserve. And let me be clear, ratings and disability payments are not handouts. They are compensation for lost earning potential based off of service-connected disabilities. So current ratings versus future claims. Who's affected? This is the biggest question of all. The biggest question in the community, the veteran community right now, is whether the VA is coming for current ratings. The short answer is that existing ratings are not automatically downgraded just because the rule took effect. The VA doesn't have the manpower to do that. Okay? They would have to go through medically everyone. What medicine are they taking? They would have to have a medical diagnosis on everyone on how the medicine is impacting them, and then they would have to make their decision. And this is before this is going to be challenged in court. If you have a current claim that's already started, we'll talk about that. Federal law, specifically 38 U.S.C. Section 1155, prevents the VA from reducing a disability rating in effect on the date of a scheduled readjustment, provided your actual underlying disability has not magically cured itself. However, you are absolutely in the crosshairs if you fall into any of the following categories. Pending claims. You had a claim pending on or after February 17th, so just a couple days ago. You will be rated under the new stricter medication rules until it's challenged. If you file for an increase, see, look, here's the thing. When the VA does shit like this, you know what it does to veterans? We just go, okay, I'm not going to poke the bear. And that's what they want. That's what they want. We have to speak up about this shit. That's why I make these videos. Not to fearmonger. I don't fearmonger. It's not what I do. Okay? We have to speak up about this shit. So if you file for an increase, if your condition worsens and you file for an increase, the VA will now evaluate you based on your medicated state. If your meds are keeping you relatively stable, your request for an increase could easily be denied, or worse, they could use the new exam to propose a reduction. Routine future exams. This one actually pisses me off. If the VA schedules you for a routine reevaluation, the examiner will use the new criteria. If you look fine because you took your prescribed painkillers that morning, the examiner will note your improved mobility. The VA could initiate a rating reduction. Will they? Who knows? But can they? Yes. Based off of how I have read this new section 4.10. This rule makes poking the bear exponentially more dangerous for veterans. Filing a new secondary claim or asking for an increase now opens your entire file up to examiners who are mandated to rate you based on your best, most medicated day. Which is wild. Nothing operates like that. Nothing in this space will operate this way. That's like me walking into the doctor and saying, hey, I have severe migraines. And then the doctor saying, okay, I'm only going to talk to you about how you feel after you take your Excedrin, not before. Do you know how stupid that sounds? It's pretty stupid. The sneaky rollout. No trial, no public comment. The way the government, the VA, which is a government entity, rolled this out is a textbook example of bureaucratic overreach. Okay, and the VA is a bureaucracy. When a federal agency wants to change a major rule, the Administrative Procedure Act, an actual law written by Congress, passed by the House and the Senate, signed by the president years and years ago, the Administrative Procedures Act usually requires them to publish a proposed rule, give the public 60 to 90 days to comment, and those public comments can be open to the general public, but they generally go to legal experts in the field. If they say, hey, this is a good idea, hey, I think this is a bad idea, here's why, maybe we change this, yada, yada, yada. They didn't even fucking do that. They heard no one's concerns about this. None. From outside their ivory fucking tower. They said, we're just going to do this. Fuck veterans. Imagine the VA being the one saying, fuck veterans. The VA skipped all that. They invoked what is called a good cause exception. I don't know what's good about this. Nothing, in my opinion. Claiming that the Ingram court decision would overburden their claims system. I do not care. By declaring an administrative emergency, they published this as an interim final rule that went into effect the same day it was published. There was no trial period. There was no warning. They completely shut out Congress. They completely shut out both the House and Senate committees on Veterans Affairs. Shut them out. Man, I bet Lieutenant Colonel Cade, the dude that wants us all to work in factories until we die, is loving this shit. Bro's probably dancing with his one leg. I have no respect for that guy. Don't care. Veteran service organizations and the millions of veterans whose lives depend on not just medication and care, but also compensation. Remember, that compensation is not a handout. It makes up for lost earning potential. Okay? They are allowing a 60-day post-publication comment, which is wild, that ends in April 2026. But the damage is already being done to claims being processed right now. Now, I know that the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans, they have already put out an article about this. Veteran service organizations, VSOs, are already up in arms about this. I'm just a small YouTuber and a veteran who cares about this stuff and cares about myself and my brothers and sisters in the community. That's why I make these videos, right? I don't make money off this. I'm not monetized yet on YouTube. You know, I've just been like, I'm a disabled veteran who has been retired because of my disabilities. Do I want it to impact me? No, but mostly I don't want it to impact the young veterans coming up, right? Because it's about taking care of each other. So why this is terrible for our community? This policy creates a terrifying and cruel dilemma for veterans. It forces a choice between physical health and financial stability. It literally forces you to choose between your health and your finances. Veterans are not stupid. Contrary to popular belief, veterans are not stupid. If we know that taking a prescribed medication will, for example, make our range of motion look better on an exam, resulting in a loss of money, thousands of dollars a month, and necessary compensation, we'll stop taking it. Like, oh, you're going to rate me based off of my medications working? I'm going to tell my doctor that I'm having adverse side effects to this medication, and I'm going to stop taking it. And it might happen 2 weeks before my exam. Oh, Jeff, but that's fraud. No, it's not. Because you would do it too. You would do it too. This rule creates dangerous incentive to abandon medical treatment, endure excruciating pain, and risk serious mental health spirals just to prove to a VA examiner that the underlying disability is still severe. This is why your rating should be tied directly to your VA doctors. The fact that they still do your fucking ratings, your CMP exams outside and barely take into account your VA doctors is fucking crazy. Because all they have to do is say, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I see you have an appointment with Jeff about his PTSD. We see the medication he's on, because I don't think they fucking give a shit about HIPAA over there. We see your notes. Talk to me about Jeff. That's all they have to fucking do. But they don't do it. They don't do it because they don't think. And most of all, this rule completely ignores the crippling side effects of the medications themselves. Veterans might be forced to take heavy narcotics that destroy their stomachs, causes extreme weight gain or weight loss, or induces severe insomnia just to manage their service-connected back pain, for example, or PTSD. One of my PTSD medications, I can only take at night. And sometimes I have to take it during the day if I'm having a particularly bad day. You know why? Because it knocks me the fuck out. Not taking that into account is crazy. And that's what this does. It ignores it completely. They just go, is it making you better? Oh my God, did it cure your PTSD, Jeff? Are you better? Oh, you're 20%. Oh, you know what? You don't need to be rated. That's what the VA's doing. That's how they're acting. Children. This has nothing to do with accuracy. The VA will look at the veteran, note that their back hurts less, or that they sound coherent, lower their rating, completely disregard the absolute hell the medication puts us through daily. This is about the VA saving money. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The old motto from the VA, deny, deny, deny until they die. That's what they're trying to do. They're going back to the mid-2010s VA. That's what this is. They want to lower payouts, and they're doing it by penalizing veterans who have the audacity to seek treatment for the bodies that we broke serving our country. We have the audacity to show up to our doctor's appointments, to actually take the medications, to try the different medications that are being prescribed to us by our primary care doctors and or our specialists. I don't know about you guys, but my fellow veterans, how many different medications have you been on? Shit, I'll fucking show you. You hear that? This is just my daytime box. I have another box Sunday through Monday for nighttime. So how dare I take my medication to try to survive the day? Just survive. We cannot let the VA operate in the shadows and dictate our livelihoods without a fight. The VA is not working in our best interests anymore. The public comment period for this rule is open until April 2026. We need every veteran to flood the docket. Okay? Everyone contact your congressman, congresswoman, congressperson. Okay? Tell them, hey, this is fucked up. Tell them, hey, yeah, I'm a different person when I'm on my medication. Sure, I might be able to survive, but I can't work. If that's your personal story, right? Don't lie. They're not here to lie. Right? We're here to be honest and truthful. Which I've been with you today about this issue. But we have to be the ones who speak up. Because no one else is going to do it for us. We have to take care of each other. So I urge you today, go to congress.gov, go to your state, pull up your senators, pull up your representative in the House, send them an email. Say, hey, what the VA has done is bullshit. They need to be held accountable. They have violated certain things. And I thought we were supposed to be caring for veterans. Imagine being called Veterans Affairs and working to demean veteran service and demean what it means to be a veteran. And I'm not talking about the doctors and the nurses. They have nothing to do with this. Doctors, nurses, the regular everyday employee at the VA, not them. Not them. I know a lot of them. They're amazing. The fucking bureaucracy of the VA, the suits up in their fucking ivory towers. What the fuck were you thinking? That's my question to you. What the fuck were you thinking? How do you look yourself in the mirror and not think to yourself, wow, I'm a piece of shit? Because whoever advised you to do this, and then you said, yeah, that's a good idea, you're an idiot. From one veteran to another, you're a fucking idiot. Make sure you guys like, comment, and follow. I will see you guys next time.